Okay, so now we know our x. Okay, so, and somewhere above the x or something, right, an 8 or something. Okay, so I know that you know what your x is. Okay, so now it says find PQ, QR, and the whole segment. So, all you're going to do is take one of those segments and plug that x back in. So, well, let's look at PQ. So, PQ right now says 6x minus 7. And we're not writing x anymore. What is our x? We know our x value. Our x is 8. So, you're going to plug in 8 where that x is at. Okay, so 6 times 8 is 48, and then we got a minus 7. So 48 minus 7 is 41. Okay, what is 41? What were we working with? Okay, what were we trying to find? And this is why I kind of right below, I did a little crooked on this side, but what I was doing. Okay, so PQ is 41. Okay, we can say that that one is definitely 41. We know it for sure. Now, here's where the great thing about midpoints is. Okay, and I want you to think about this. So, what do we know about the segment in general? Well, we know that Q is the midpoint, okay? It's the midpoint, it's the middle point between this segment. So, if we split this segment in half, this side should equal this side. So, in that case, if this one is 41, what is the other side? Okay, it's 41. So, without even doing any more math, once you find one, you can find all the rest. So if that one is 41, then QR has to be 41 because Q is the midpoint, okay? If this one is 41, then this one has to be 41, okay? And the next question, it says, well, find PR, okay? Well, let's look at PR. What is PR? So PR is the length of the entire segment, okay? Well, if you know that this one is 41 and this one is 41, our segment addition postulate says that we could take this one and add it with this one, and that would give us the whole one. Okay, so our PR is the two values total, so 82. Okay, the length of our entire segment is 82. And on the flip side of that, if I gave you a problem and it said PR is 82, what is Q or PQ and QR? You could do that on the flip side. Well, and say, well, if it has a midpoint, then there's two halfway points, okay, or well, one halfway point. 82, and you split it in half is going to be 82 divided by 2, which would give you 41 and 41, okay? Bree, take a picture. Okay, let's look at the next one. Okay, the next one is the same thing. So, we have a full segment, which is QV, okay? And then it says that U is the midpoint. Okay, U is the middle point. That means that this one should equal this one, okay? And these two combined should equal the whole one, okay? So, it says U is the midpoint of TV, okay? All it's saying is U is the middle point between the entire segment, okay? TV. It says find X, find TU, find UV, and TV. So they want you to find what this segment equals, what the other segment equals, and what the entire segment equals. Okay, so same thing. Because it's a midpoint, we know that this segment should equal this segment. So you can set this expression equal to this expression. That's all. So I got 8x plus 11. Equals, and it equals the other segment, which is UV, which so happens to be 12x minus 1. Okay, so we know that the segments equal each other, so we need to start moving stuff and combining like terms, okay? So, the letters, once again, go on the left. The numbers go on the right, okay? So, if we look at the equal sign, this is the left side, this is the right side. So, 8x, is that a letter or a number? Well, it's a letter, so it can stay. The plus 11, is that a letter or a number? Well, it's a number, so it needs to be moved to the other side. So right now it's a plus 11, so we need to do the opposite and say minus 11. Well, if you do it to one side, you got to do it to the other side. So I got 8x equals 12x minus 1 minus 11. Okay, once again, relook at your equation. So I got 8x, that's on the left, okay, and letters go on the left, so that's good, equals 12x. Is that a letter or a number? Well, it's a letter, and it's on the right side, and it shouldn't be. Okay, so it needs to be moved. So right now, it's a plus 12x. We need to move it, so we do the opposite, so minus 12x. If you do it to one side, you have to do it to the other side, so minus 12x. Okay, so I got 8x minus 12x equals negative 1 minus 11. Okay, and then we can go back through and look and say, well, are all of our letters on the left? Okay, well, if we look at it, I got an 8x, that's a letter, perfect. 12x, that's a letter, perfect. We hit our equals, so now we're on the right side. Okay, and we got a number, perfect. Okay, so now we can combine our like terms. So 8 minus 12x is going to give you negative 4x equals negative 1 minus 11 is going to give you negative 12. Okay, and now that we're down to our single digit, by that I mean we don't have multiple terms, we just have 4x equals 12. Then we can go ahead, and our last step is going to be to divide because we're multiplying that negative 4x. So divide by the negative 4, divide by negative 4. Okay, if you do it to one side, you got to do it to the other side. Negative 12 divided by negative 4 is going to be 3. So we know that our x value is 3. Okay? Okay, so above the find x, I'm just writing 3. Okay, and the next one says, well, find TU. Okay, so find TU. Well, we know that TU, if we look at the line, TU from here to here says 8x plus 11. So we can write that down, 8x plus 11. Okay, but now we know our x, and what is our x value? Okay, well, our x value is 3. So wherever the x is at, we're going to plug in 3. So we got 8, 3, plug in the 3 where the x is at, plus 11. Okay, so 8 times 3 is going to be 24 plus 11. Okay, and 24 plus 11 is going to be 35. Okay, so what is 35? I want you to think about what were we doing? What were we trying to find? What were we working with? Okay, well, we were finding TU. So we can go ahead and write that somewhere up there to kind of help us with our picture. So we know that TU equals 35. Okay, and once again, like we did on the last one, okay, if this one equals 35, what should this one equal? Okay, it's the midpoint. Okay, so if this one equals 35, what should this one equal? Without even doing any more math, okay, you can go through and say, well, UV and plug in the x and solve. Okay, you totally can. I'm not judging if you prefer to do it that way. Absolutely. Okay, but we don't absolutely need to. Okay, if this one equals 35 and it's the midpoint, then this one has to equal 35. Okay, so TU is 35. That means that UV should also be 35. Okay, and our last thing says, well, find TV. Okay, well, TV is the length of the entire segment. And we know from our segment addition postulate that if we take part of a segment and another part of the segment, it should equal the entire segment. Okay, so this part plus this part should equal the entire part, okay, which is going to be 70. So 35 plus 35 is going to be 70. The length of the entire segment, okay, is 70. Bree, take a picture. Okay, the next two are for you to do. You have one that is the congruent segments. So find whatever AC is and BE is, okay, and make sure you write. It should look like AC equals BE equals. Okay, and the reason I want you to do that is because if you have the wrong answer and you just write yes or no, I don't know where you went wrong at, okay? I want to make sure that you know how to read the segments properly, because some of you guys did not the other day, and some of you guys did. Most of you guys did great. There was only about 2 of you. So, and then you can write yes or no, okay? So you could say yes or no, depending on if they're the same value or not, okay? The last one, okay, you're given an entire segment in 2 segment chunks. A is obviously the midpoint, okay, so you can set these equal to each other and solve for x, solve for x. Make sure that you, if you're getting a little lost, go back through and look at some of the ones I did, okay, try to follow my steps. I know that some of these it's not very much practice, and that's okay. You're not supposed to be an expert at it at the first day, okay, so do